because you can't have both. Regular people don't want woke garbage, and if you go with woke, you lose moderates. If you go with moderates, you lose woke. Thank you and have a nice day. This is why Democrats have been so adamant about falling in line and agreeing with whatever they say, no matter what, and this is exactly why their ratings are collapsing and their shows are failing.
So apparently, alternate media has taken over and completely destroyed CNN and MSNBC as Americans' most trusted news sources. If Donald Trump's landslide victory, where he won the majority vote, wasn't an indicator, let's have a look at Tim Pool actually breaking down the numbers.
Cometh now the repercussions of lying to people for so long. MSNBC and CNN ratings plummet following Trump's landslide victory. And it's not just the corporate press. We saw a video last week where David Pakman, a prominent liberal streamer, says, please stop unsubscribing. We are losing paid subscribers. We are seeing people leave the channel. I called all these other liberals. They're all seeing the same thing. And indeed, it is true. Now, it's not the apocalypse for these people. David Pakman lost 10,000 followers and then maybe more because they only round to the 10,000. He's gained that back since then. Brian Tyler Cohen, who is a massive YouTube channel, has started to has lost 10,000. He has not recovered. And we are seeing this across the board, and it is not impacting channels on the right. And I think this sends a big message, my friends. You see, in the earlier segment this morning, I was talking about how Democrats are more concerned with being Democrats than they are with being right, whereas Republicans are more concerned with being right than they are with being Republicans. Hence, they won over libertarians. Donald Trump went to the Libertarian Party facing boos from the crowd because he was like, maybe I'll get some of you. Maybe I'll get some of you because I'm willing to compromise and make my offer to everybody to win this election. And, I think that libertarians did help push Trump over that mark because the third party candidates didn't actually get that many votes. But if you look now at what's happening to MSNBC and CNN, I think David Pakman exemplified it much better because they're not going to explain. MSNBC, CNN is not going to come out and be like, oh, heavens me, we're losing all of our viewers. But David Pakman will, because he's an individual channel and he relies on subscribers and, views and all of these things, probably making a ridiculous amount of money. And I will stress this too. Boy, oh boy, the podcast world is changing. With this, they call the podcast presidency. Media has shifted and money be flowing in.
Speaking of which, I wanted to let you guys know that I host a podcast called the Jar Openers Podcast. We go live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. and Saturdays currently at 8 p.m. So come check us out. It's on this channel.
Ad rates are starting to skyrocket in ways I did not expect. So now it's getting pretty wild to see how much money people are making when they're doing these ads because people don't want to buy on TV anymore because it doesn't move product. It's interesting. But I will tell you this. The Democrats are screwed. This is another example playing off of my earlier morning segment where I would suggest the Democrats are a done. Now, they'll figure something out fine. What I mean to say is, what are you going to do, Democrats? Are you going to abandon wokeness? Are you going to adopt moderate populist policies so that you can actually try and win back the moderates? If you do that, you're going to sacrifice the woke and the left. AOC right now is saying, no, I think wokeness is fine. Wokeness is fine. Okay, pick one, because you can't have both. Regular people don't want woke garbage. And if you go with woke, you lose moderates. If you go with moderates, you lose woke. Thank you and have a nice day. This is why Democrats have been so adamant about falling in line and agreeing with whatever they say, no matter what. And this is exactly why their ratings are collapsing and their shows are failing. But let's take a look at this story from the Daily Wire. And then we'll throw it to our good friend, David Pakman, as he explains that there are bloodthirsty pro-Trump influencers planning to destroy him and progressive media. He plays a clip from our show where I mentioned that liberals are propped up by bots, which I believe I have a preponderance of evidence to suggest as such. Notably from this story in the Washington Times that talks about how liberals are losing followers en masse, which is not explained by an exodus, which they tried to do. But he plays the clip of us and then he's like, look at what Trump supporting streamer Tim Pool has. Oh, shut up, David. I've known that guy for like 12 years. All right, here's the Daily Wire. They report MSNBC and CNN's ratings plummeted after President-elect Trump's landslide victory against Kamala Harris was announced early morning hours of Wednesday after the election. According to Nielsen data, the viewership on MSNBC on Thursday, analyzing Trump's win, brought in a total for all day of 596,000 viewers. And in the coveted age demographic of 25 to 54, a total of 71,000. Whoa! Holy smokes. Guys, take a look at my video yesterday morning has 275,000 views. And that is almost entirely key demo, 25 to 54. That's just one clip that I've done. We do, I think, 1.5 million uniques, million unique views. I think that's what it is per day. Maybe I'm wrong. It seems a little, no, I think that's probably right. 1.5 million uniques. And then some people watch multiple, so we end up getting a couple million across the board. All key demo. And for the day, their total was 596,000 and only 71,000 for all day. Holy crap, that's insane. They say on CNN, coverage of Trump's election victory throughout the day on Thursday brought in 419,000 total viewers and only 91,000 in the key demo. Nobody is watching CNN anymore. I got to say, guys, I think we're keeping them on life support. When we talk about the corporate press at this point, I think it's us keeping them on life support. I think the reality is David Pakman gets way more views than that. He's losing subscribers. He gained them back. He's whinging. You're whinging, David.
And that's where I'll come in and ask you guys to let's really teach them a lesson. Let's show them that a guy sitting in a spare bedroom talking to a camera is actually more popular than CNN and MSNBC. So please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video.
Primetime coverage for both networks was even worse, with MSNBC host Alex Wagner experiencing the lowest rated show ever, and Chris Hayes' show scoring the worst audience since May of 2016. Year over year. MSNBC's numbers were also down 23%, while CNN's audience was down 40%. So I'll stress this. We have one primetime show. We are the biggest primetime live show on YouTube. Timcast IRL. I'm going to say that again for everybody in the back. Timcast IRL is the biggest YouTube primetime live show. We are the second biggest show on YouTube for the day. Pat McAfee beats us. And in the news category on YouTube, we are number one all day. And in general, I believe right now, for the entire U.S., we are bested only by the king himself, Dan Bongino. Shout out to Dan Bongino. His show is like 3 times as big as Timcast IRL. So for YouTube, though, he's on Rome.
So shout out to Dan Bongino. Shout out to alternate media, everybody that's out there trying to tell the truth and putting America first. And now it appears that Comcast is selling MSNBC. They're cutting ties. The ratings aren't worth it. And, you know, don't let the big door hit you where the good Lord split you, is what I say to that. And, you know, it's fantastic. I'm sure these people over there are not very happy about that. And I have a clip here briefly from Patrick Bet-David over at the PBD podcast talking about it.
So MSNBC is owned by Comcast. For some of you guys that are looking for a fire sale, MSNBC's parent Comcast is weighing to spin off declining cable networks, one of them being MSNBC. Look, by the way, Rob, can you go to MSNBC's YouTube channel? I want to show you guys something I saw last week. I'll read this while you just go to their YouTube channel. So Comcast President Mike Cavanaugh announced the company is considering a spinoff its cable network, including MSNBC, CNBC, Bravo, E!, to create a new well-capitalized company for shareholders that could better navigate the charging media landscape. However, NBC and streaming service Peacock would remain with Comcast, of course, because it's profitable. Comcast media business saw a $1.9 billion revenue boost in the third quarter, primarily from the Paris Olympics, with Peacock adding 3 million subscribers, reaching 36 million. Despite these gains, Comcast lost 365,000 cable TV subscribers. Those are 2 different games, Comcast. You're doing a good job wanting to sell these. Reflecting the industry-wide shift away from traditional TV bundles toward streaming, the potential spinoff reflects broader industry challenges as traditional pay TV subscriber losses hit a mind-boggling 4 million in the first half of the year. Tom.
Well, guess what? It's not Back to the Future. It's Welcome to the Future. And the future is a very tough environment. So you've got MSNBC basically taking, 3 dogs, and I don't know what to do with it. The dogs are MSNBC, Bravo, and E! And when I say dogs, I'm speaking like Boston Consulting Group, stars, question marks, dogs, and cash cows. There's no discriminatory or disrespectful thing. But let's face it, MSNBC, Bravo, and E are dogs. CNBC, there's something there. That's the jewel of the pack. Because it's, there's the Bloomberg network, but CNBC is relatively unassailed. What you have here is yesterday's distribution isn't working, and they've got some very unprofitable channels, and they want to unload them. To who? Mm-hmm. To who? Zaz, the nickname for the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, went to the Allen and Company conference in the spring and couldn't sell CNN. He wanted to sell CNN. He had problems with, they had the Cuomo controversy that they made. Then they had the Don Lemon controversy. Then they had declining ratings. Then they had their own drama with they were going to have to get rid of certain stars and cut salary. They couldn't sell it. And CNN is a jewel of a brand name. And they couldn't sell that. And so now MSNBC is trying to sell a bunch of junk that's not profitable to put into the streaming subscription. And they're losing, think about that, 4 million subscriber losses on pay TV subscriber. That's defined as cable and satellite. And there's only about 150 million homes, give or take, if you look at it, of 330 million Americans. So guess what? That's huge. That's huge. And it's been going on for a while. Same problem. And now what you have here is on the other side of it, at least you've got CNN trying. Pat was absolutely right. They're forced to be more balanced. They're forced to do it. And the person that does it was Erin Burnett, who came from CNBC and was a morning business reporter that had a lot of spine, a lot of backbone, would ask CEOs good questions, and she had integrity, far as I could tell. Then she goes over to CNN with the producer in her ear, taking very liberal positions, some of them absolutely not true. And so this is the problem that MSNBC has. They don't know what to do with this stuff. And by the way, do you think MSNBC can come back the way CNN is, at least trying to show some balance? Do you think it's possible?
MSNBC is too far.
You gotta love it, right? MSNBC is for sale, but who's gonna buy it? Looks like they're basically gonna fizzle away into nothing. They might try to retool. Who knows? Maybe Trump winning this election will be the savior. When you think of CNN during Trump's 4 years, that was CNN's best 4 years, in recent history. But then as soon as he was out, everybody was fired. Cuomo, Lemon, Lemon even tried to restart a show on X, and it was canceled before it even started, essentially. You just gotta love it, right? Because truth seems to always prevail. And these people are a bunch of liars. They tell fake news. And frankly, they're responsible for the liberal meltdowns that we're seeing across the board on X and TikTok and all this stuff, because they indoctrinated these people to think that Donald Trump is Hitler, that his supporters are Nazis, that they're homophobes and all this other type of stuff. They're even, some of these MSNBC and CNN, they're even moving to the next step. The View particularly comes to mind when now they're blaming misogyny. Instead of pointing their finger back at them and saying, hey, you know what, maybe we were wrong, maybe we approached this wrong, maybe we were too much in the bag for the Democratic candidate, and the people saw through it, which they'll never do. Looking forward to The View being canceled, looking forward to MSNBC and CNN fizzling away or rebranding themselves as a more truthful entity, something that Americans can actually watch and take real news from. But as it stands right now, they're bleeding subscribers and they're basically on the way out, which, as I said in the beginning, is an attributing factor to alternate news. And so with that, I just want to ask once again, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to this channel. We just passed 25,000 subscribers. We're on a mission to get to 100,000 and then ultimately 1 million and more, right? And so with your help, that can be done. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this video. And ultimately, come visit me Saturdays at 8 p.m. and Wednesdays at 6 p.m. for the Jar Openers podcast. I'd love to see you there. I'd love to engage in conversation where we can have, you know, a one-on-one essential conversation. Not really one-on-one because hopefully more than one person shows up. But but anyways, if I don't see you there in the live, hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video.